Available, J.P. Shadrick.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either. Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. It is Thursday. It is Week 17. The Jaguars and the Houston Texans coming up this Sunday at NRG Stadium in Houston. Busy 2 hours coming up. We've got analyst Jeff Lageman coming up. Tight end Chris Manhertz will join us at around 4:45 today in studio. We'll get his thoughts on a couple of the key defensive contributors for the Houston Texans. Of course, the playoff picture is here. It's starting to come into focus a bit. Only 2 AFC playoff spots are still up for grabs, the AFC South title and a wild card berth. The Dolphins currently hold that wild card in the number 7 seed. And of course, in the second hour, the Doug Pederson Show at 5 o'clock. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach coming up, get his thoughts about the week ahead, the week that has been already, and the Jaguars' ascension to the top of the AFC South. Let's start with the head coach, Doug Pederson, earlier this week. On Wednesday, he's playing the Jags this week in Week 17.
Never a meaningless game. Never, ever. You play to win every game. The only way I rest players is if they're hurt and can't go. It's an AFC South opponent, and they beat us in Week 5. So, we've got to have a great week of preparation, and we understand that, and still got some unfinished business.
Now to the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. He also spoke Wednesday, and there's still work to be done for this Jaguars team with 2 weeks left.
We can't act like we've arrived, though, because we still haven't clinched anything. We still haven't made the playoffs. We have 2 games left to continue to prove who we are and to put one foot in front of the next and to just keep stacking these games. So we can't look too far ahead and say this is the team we are now. We have to do it every week. You're only as good as what you can do every Sunday. So, that's really for us. It's just about being consistent, continuing to do this, and that's what great teams win these games. Games that you got to win, you win them, and that's what we're trying to become as a great team. And I think we're on our way, but we got to keep doing this consistently, and I got to keep doing it too as the quarterback and as a player on this team. Like, it's all about consistency, and I've played well the past month or whatever it is, but I got to keep doing that, especially. You want to make a run in the playoffs, you want to go deep in the playoffs, then you got to do that even more so. So, that's how I'm looking at it as week to week, and I think our team has matured a lot as the season's gone on.
That's the quarterback, of course, earlier this week. On to the defense, and linebacker Foye Oluokun is on to the Texans now. Not looking yet to next week against the Titans, even though that is a winner-take-all battle. It's all about Houston.
It's a lot to play for this week, and they beat us last time. So any motivation, everybody wants to keep our momentum going from the past couple weeks, these wins. So do whatever we need to do to keep that going. That's by beating Houston. So everything right now is being put into that game plan of Houston, and then whatever happens after that is what we'll take care of when that comes.
There you have it. Full sound from the locker room, and press conferences available on Jaguars.com and Jaguars social media. And, of course, we'll hear more from head coach Doug Pederson coming up at 5 o'clock on the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. We welcome in Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman now, and I hope you had a Merry Christmas after the early week Thursday night game against the Jets. Got back home, and then now it's back to work and back to business.
Yeah, no, it was great. Christmas was fantastic. It was cold, but the schedule makers in the NFL treated us right.
Yes, they did. Actually, it worked out pretty well.
It's fantastic.
No doubt.
Yeah, to have Christmas weekend off and Christmas football of plenty. Does Santa not deliver some NFL football this year for Christmas or what?
Yeah, we've all been on the good list, I think, this week in that regard. So,
did you see the ratings?
I'm sure they were through the roof.
Typically the NBA has always been on Christmas Day, and that's kind of tradition. And this year, because Christmas fell on the weekend, the NFL had a smattering of games all across the weekend. I want to say the ratings were like 5 times at the NFL compared to what the NBA was.
I could see that.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely.
It just goes to show you the popularity of the NFL, and Saturday's games were really good. Sunday's games were, but still better than the NBA.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'm just,
It's the most popular sport in the country for a reason.
By far, and really popular in Jacksonville right now.
Absolutely. They're hot. They're in first place. Now the challenge for this Jags team is to keep it going. And Doug Pederson, as we just heard there, said earlier this week, there's no such thing as a meaningless game. They're playing. The Titans play tonight. They have a lot of guys that are not playing. It's a short week. There's some guys dinged up. They've got a lot of issues going on.
Some guys not playing. There's a pile of Titans not playing tonight.
It's two distinctly different approaches.
Well, and I think for a couple reasons. One is that the Titans really can't do anything good right now just because they have some personnel issues. I mean, it's one of the reasons why the owner fired John Robinson as general manager, and they're currently looking to fill his role with somebody else possibly, if not from the gentleman that's taking his place right now in Tennessee. But they have a major personnel issue. They have a major issue at quarterback because Tannehill is out. They have a rookie, and who's starting tonight?
Josh Dobbs.
I mean, Josh Dobbs, who's
here?
Well, I know they just picked him up.
Yeah, like
right?
8 days ago.
Yeah, I mean,
good luck, Josh.
Hey, here you go.
Yeah.
Last time I watched Josh Dobbs, I was going, how in the world is he even on this football team? I mean, not to be extremely critical of him, but I'm just being honest.
Hey, good luck, Josh. It's the Dallas Cowboys over there.
Yeah, who, by the way,
need it.
play really good defense, and they got a guy by the name of Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence that are the two, I think, combined edge rushers maybe in the league. I mean, it's definitely two distinctive approaches, but if the Jaguars win this week, then you play Tennessee, and for some crazy reason, you tie them, you have the tiebreaker over the Titans. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, there is motivation to play well this week.
That's right.
And on top of that, the Texans have owned you 9 consecutive games. Owned you. That would fall under the category of if you want to change the culture, then you want to stop streaks that exist like that. And there's been a lot of streaks that have been stopped this year. The road losing streak that was going on forever until the Chargers game. Mm-hmm. The number of times that you lost in Nashville against Tennessee.
NFC teams 20 in a row.
20 in a row.
Game.
I mean, it's Trevor Lawrence finally gets a win from somebody else besides the Indianapolis Colts this year when he beat Tennessee in Tennessee. Well, here's another opportunity for him to get his first victory against the Houston Texans. And if you want to be the new sheriff in town, you got to start changing the way that things happen in town. And the sheriff needs to beat the Texans. And I hope that he does.
Let's say they're up 17 points at the start of the fourth quarter.
C.J. Beathard, there you go, buddy.
You think so?
Get on in there.
That's when you start kind of switching it around a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the mindset this week, the right mindset would be is that you're playing to win the game. But if you get to a certain point, and that's not easy to get to, this is the National Football League. The Texans have played. Look, the Texans beat the Titans when the Titans were giving it everything they had last week. Mm-hmm. Okay, so and they were +2 in turnover differential. The only way that they won prior to that was +2 against the Jaguars. It's the only 2 times this year that they've been +2. So this week you better protect the ball because that's the only way the Texans have been winning. But then you go before that, they played the Dallas Cowboys down to the wire. Overtime against Kansas City, and Davis Mills fumbled the ball, and Kansas City ended up taking it in to win that ball game. So for the last 3 ball games, the Houston Texans have played very well, and they've played hard. And it's going to be a really weird environment in Houston. Really weird environment because we've kind of had that environment here before. And what are the fan base, what are they thinking in Houston right now? What do you think?
They're probably angry at everything going on if they're showing up at all.
Okay.
Right?
Here's the mindset of the fan base, JP, because we were there.
Yeah.
Don't win the game against the Jaguars.
They got the number 1 pick right now.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of fans coming out because it's the Texans that have not been playing well. They've got 2 wins on the season. But the fans will be there, I think, more of a carnival-type atmosphere because they want to be entertained, but they don't want to see their team win, right? I mean, who's the guy? Your guy at Alabama, Bryce Young?
The quarterback at Alabama is Bryce Young, yes.
Your guy.
Whatever.
Well, he's your guy. He's an Alabama guy.
I mean, I don't know what that. Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm saying
I went
he's
to
your
school
guy
there
because
a long time ago.
I mean, aren't they predicting him to be potentially the number one overall pick in the draft?
There have been a lot of yes. I haven't really looked at mock drafts, which is kind of strange this time of year, actually.
Really?
Which is good.
I figured you would already have like the slotting.
We don't have to worry about
the
that.
Alabama Crimson Tide guys are expected
We don't
to be
have
drafted,
to worry about the draft order
which
now.
is nice.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
That's
No, but
the whole point.
it's going to be a weird environment because it's going to be kind of sterile. How many people will show up, I think, is a great question. And so if you want to have a great amount of energy, you better bring your own energy.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
I think that's got to happen every week anyway, right? I mean, you can be in a big, game with a sold out house here, or like it's going to be Sunday in Houston.
Yeah,
you still better come play.
Yeah, but this is different. I mean, JP, this is like when I was at Virginia and we used to go play at Duke. Okay?
Yeah,
I mean, and literally you were just like, is there a game today? I mean,
Okay.
it didn't feel like a game, and I think in Houston this weekend it's going to be a little bit of that atmosphere. And so, from a motivation standpoint, you better pull from within, because if you're expecting, because a lot of times, look, as a player, you come out there and you're performers to some extent, and so you get excited when there's a lot of eyeballs on you. And when you get into that environment where there's not a lot of people and it's kind of an odd atmosphere, because again, the Texans fans, I think, are going to be hoping that they lose so they keep the number one overall pick. It's just going to be a weird situation. But the Texans are kind of used to that. This team is not. But the Texans have been playing, I think, in a different atmosphere all year long. So it's just something to be aware of. And I give the Texans credit. I've been watching the film this week, and the Texans have been playing hard.
Yeah.
They're not playing great, but they're playing hard.
Close losses to two good teams, Dallas, Kansas City, and then, of course, they beat Tennessee last week. So they're playing for Lovie Smith. They're playing hard. They got a bunch of injuries in key spots. Starting running back is out. One of the key
Damian
receivers,
Pierce.
Nico Collins, is gone. Stingley's gone, the corner. So they're beat up a little bit.
Yeah, but they won last week, beat up.
They did.
I mean,
They certainly
they didn't
did.
have any of those guys last week. It's not like they got beat up last week and they're not going to have them this week. I mean, that's I think, credit. They haven't had Damian Pierce for a couple weeks. They haven't had Nico Collins for a couple weeks. They haven't had Stingley for a couple weeks. So, I mean, this is not new ground for the Texans. What they have playing right now has been playing pretty hard. And Lovie Smith is trying to keep a job for next year. And how does he do that? By winning.
That's right.
And maybe Nick Caserio, the general manager, doesn't like that very much. I mean, doesn't he want to have the opportunity to draft a franchise quarterback? If they lose one game and the Bears lose, then don't the Bears then have the first overall pick of the draft?
Again, I haven't worried about draft order in a while, which is a good feeling.
The Texans fans are worried about
good
that,
for
JP.
them. That's their issue. How about that?
Well, I'm just trying to give you an idea what the environment might be in Houston. It's going to be kind of odd.
Let's come back, and we'll get a little deeper into the Texans.
You're just loving this playoff atmosphere environment, which we're going to have in a week and a half.
Now that's
gonna be fun.
we're talking.
It's going to be fun, but you want to make sure that you go into that game with momentum. And I'm a big believer in this. If you win this week, I think it creates momentum for that last game.
Right. Let's dig into that when we come back.
But you want to stay healthy.
Yeah, there's a lot going into that. We'll come into that. We've got the injury report coming up a little bit later as well. Then at 4:45, Chris Manhertz, Jaguars tight end, joining us in studio. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. We're off and running on Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
The holidays are almost over, so don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. It's your last chance to get the best deals of the year on Ford trucks and SUVs. Light up your New Year's celebration in a Ford F-150 with available Pro Power onboard, or roll into the new year in a Ford Explorer SUV with available four-wheel drive. Don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event. Inventory is arriving daily, but hurry. The Holiday Your Way sales event ends January 3rd. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa. Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty. Offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, no reaction from us. That's kind of what we expected. You know, we know at this point in the season, that's what we expected. That's what we want. And you got to finish strong, and that's the message. And these are 2 division games that we have left. I mean, that doesn't always work out that way. We get to finish with 2 division games, so it's a great opportunity for us. You know, obviously we lost this team. You know, like I said, a month or 2 or 2 months ago, whenever it was. So getting a chance to play them again at their stadium. Haven't beat this team in a while. You know, I've never beat the Texans in the last 2 years. You know, 3 games. So for me, it's a game I definitely want to win, and our whole team feels that way. And it's another opportunity just to show who we are.
That's the quarterback, of course, Trevor Lawrence. Yesterday, welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, and Jaguars Game Day Radio is brought to you by ViStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. The Jaguars and the Texans coming up this week. The Jaguars and the Titans at the bank coming up in Week 18. There are some tickets remaining. They won't be remaining for long if they're out there for that Week 18 finale. We'll find out the official time for that coming up after this week's games.
When will that happen?
I believe it's like that Monday night, either at the end of that game or near the end of that game if it's decided kind of deal. Like they'll probably have it
Who plays
or
Monday?
Tuesday.
Who plays Monday night? Because, I mean, I think that game has some significance.
Bills-Bengals, yeah.
Yeah, that game
Huge.
has some significance in the AFC, so that I think that that game will have a lot to do with what happens with the Jaguars next week. And I'm just hopeful that it's not Saturday because the Titans are playing tonight.
Yeah,
they're obviously going to be a little bit more rested than they would normally be with having a Thursday night game. But you don't want to have the Jaguars on a short week with the Titans on an extended week.
Right. By the way, just minutes ago, in fact, the Titans placed 3 players on injured reserve, including quarterback Ryan Tannehill, and then Bud Dupree, outside linebacker, and linebacker Zach Cunningham, all on IR.
What did Bud Dupree do? Because he played in this past game against Houston.
Let's check. I mean, it's
kind
literally
of curious there.
Literally just came out. The does not say on the official
That's a
release
big
right
loss
here.
for them now. I mean, that's an outside edge rusher, good football player. Danico Autry, I think, is their most dominant outside edge player, but Bud Dupree, who they signed in free agency off of the Pittsburgh Steelers, has always been kind of be the guy that they expected to be that guy. But, yeah, that's a loss for them. Are they going to play the rookie against the Jaguars in that last game at quarterback? I mean, he's been struggling. Could Josh Dobbs end up earning the job after 8 days with the Titans in a Thursday night game? Could he end up maybe clinching the job and be the one that's coming in here to quarterback the Titans in that last game against the Jags? I mean, that's going to be interesting to see.
Bud Dupree, chest injury, by the way. Left the
I
game.
hope he's okay.
Questionable, yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually in the midst of watching the film of that game and watching Houston's offense against Bud Dupree, and that was a physical game. I mean, a really physical game. And Derrick Henry, he's good. He's good, but he's just got no help.
Yeah, he's the only one.
He's got no help on offense. The tackles for Tennessee are not very good, and the quarterback play is not very good. So, but anyway, Texans is up this week, not the Titans.
Houston Texans. And, considering the way their season has gone, they've tried to mix in some 2 quarterback looks now. Davis Mills.
Weird, yeah.
Jeff Driscoll gets some time.
Jeff Driscoll, who was active on the active roster earlier in the year, then they moved him to practice squad, and then he's been playing the last couple games. And at first it was kind of we got a little package of plays for him. Now it's kind of evolved into more, I don't want to say quite 50-50, but it's 65-35, 65 for Mills, 35% for Driscoll, and Driscoll's running a lot of that read option stuff. So what we saw last week from Tim Tebow, or Streveler of the New York Jets.
Tebow Light.
We'll see kind of some more of those same things this week with Driscoll. And they do play the 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. So that is something that Mike Caldwell and the defensive staff are going to have to be ready for. And I don't want to say that you completely switch gears, but I think you have to be aware of the different style of offense that will be played when Driscoll is under center versus Davis Mills. Davis Mills, again, the more traditional drop-back quarterback, even though he does have some mobility. And then Driscoll runs the read options, the read option passes, and is definitely a guy that's got some wheels now. He's got some speed.
We mentioned that they've lost Dameon Pierce, running back, who was like over 900 yards. Everybody else running the ball for them has under 100 for the season. So, I mean, he's a huge loss for them. Rex Burkhead's on the team still. He's a threat in the passing game more than anything. Beyond that, they don't have a lot in the run game. And then at wide receiver, Brandon Cooks is kind of their speed guy. But
yeah, and he's still a good player.
Yeah.
Still a good player. The backfield, I was interested to see who would they hand the ball off to, who would they throw the ball to because of the injuries that you're talking about with Dameon Pierce and Nico Collins. And look, they're throwing the ball to Chris Moore quite a bit. Brandon Cooks is still the number 1 guy, and he's not a big guy. He's a 5'10" guy, and he had a couple really big catches against Tennessee. And Chris Moore has kind of become that second guy for them, and he's a veteran guy. He's been around the block a little bit. And then the next guy up's kind of been Philip Dorsett, which we know him. He's been in Jacksonville. Was an overpaid free agent acquisition here in Jacksonville. And then Amari Rodgers had a big catch in that ball game against Tennessee as well. But the interesting thing is going to be, who's going to take the load from Dameon Pierce? Because with the quarterbacks that you have, the running game is very important, obviously, with the read option stuff with Driscoll, and then the play action stuff that they like to have with Davis Mills and Royce Freeman and a guy we know, Dare Ogunbowale, has been getting some carries there in Houston. And then Rex Burkhead, the veteran, who recovered a Davis Mills fumble against Tennessee in the end zone, has kind of been that veteran third down kind of receiving back. But yeah, it's a little bit different Texans team than the first time the Jaguars faced them.
I mean, the Jags defense matching up against this, though. I mean, we've talked about a lot of the season. They've had some issues with the man stuff, so they switched some of that. But the way this defense is built right now, and just hearing those guys talk in the locker room, I mean, they should be up to this task this week.
Well, I hope so. The reality is that the Jaguars' defense has been very opportunistic. I don't want to say that they're a good defense because they're not yet. I mean, they've got a long ways to go to being a really good defense. But in the last couple games, the takeaways have definitely helped, making big plays at key moments last week. Like last week, Lucan, I thought, played a fantastic game with tackles, a couple pass defense called, or actually 2 caused fumbles that he had in that ball game. And so defensively, they're getting key plays at key moments. Devin Lloyd, I thought, played better. That was helpful in games that he has struggled, kind of in a little bit of a stretch there. Did pretty well. It was nice to see him get the interception before the half. And they got some pressure at key moments. I thought Cisco had a big play early in that game.
Yeah,
it was we talk about opportunistic moments. That was an opportunistic moment where the Jaguars fumbled the ball on a sack by Quinnen Williams, and ball pops out. Jets recover. It was like the plus 16, something like that.
Yeah, the red zone. Yep.
And you hold them to a field goal, and on third down, you end up bringing Cisco on a blitz, which, by the way, we drew up in the film room with Mike Caldwell this week. And so look for different Jaguars on YouTube, and then Jaguars Weekend and different places to find that film. But it's a big play by Cisco. Foye had big moments, and that's what you got to do. But the reality is that's not a great offense that was in New York. And this is not a great offense in Houston, so you would like to think that you can do some good things against them. But the one concern that you have is that Houston hangs out, stays close, and then they find a way to make a couple plays, maybe get a takeaway, because that's what happened the first meeting. They were able to keep it close, low-scoring affair, and then all of a sudden they got a couple takeaways to give themselves some extra opportunities, and it cost the Jaguars the game. And so I hope the Jaguars' offense continues rolling in what is going to be very favorable conditions on New Year's Day. It won't be bad weather and wind and rain or anything of that nature in Houston.
It's a dome.
Correct.
And the roof will be closed, I would guess.
Climate controlled. Maybe not. Might be open. They've been opening that thing up in good weather days.
Did I see it was like it was opening and then it wouldn't open all the way, so they had to close it again?
Yeah, they've had some issues, I think,
like
a little bit of that, yeah.
Let's come back. Injury report is out. We'll get the latest from Thursday for both the Texans and the Jaguars. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars social media today, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And there's no better time to become a Daily's Place Blue member than right now. Enjoy the best live music around with access to the best seats and amenities, premium parking, and more. Reserve your spot for the 2023 season right now and email ticketing at boldevents.com or call 904-633-2000. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Chris Manhertz, Jags tight end, joining us in studio. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Are you looking for that gift for that ultimate Jaguars fan? Look no further. Visit your local Total Wine, Winn-Dixie, Browdy's, Golden Ox, and many other fine retailers to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars Whiskey Collector bottle today. Every bottle is produced, engraved, labeled, and numbered at Citrus Distillers, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Support local whiskey. Duval!
The holidays are almost over, so don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. It's your last chance to get the best deals of the year on Ford trucks and SUVs. Light up your New Year's celebration in a Ford F-150 with available Pro Power onboard, or roll into the new year in a Ford Explorer SUV with available four-wheel drive. Don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event. Inventory is arriving daily, but hurry. The Holiday Your Way sales event ends January 3rd. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Hey, I'm driving. I joined the new Dunkin' Rewards program, and today's the day I'm going to use my points on a medium iced latte and a couple of chocolate frosted donuts.
Here you go, and thanks for being a rewards member.
And now I'm using those chocolate frosted donuts, kids, to get a few sweet, sweet, blissful minutes of beautiful relief from the never-ending onslaught of backseat bickering.
Join new Dunkin' Rewards today. Join new Dunkin' Rewards today. Save them, stack them, use them how you want. America runs on Dunkin'. Terms apply.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Unlock your potential at the University of North Florida. A top public university with more than 100 majors, UNF is number one among state schools for the highest percentage of graduates employed in Florida. Affordable tuition, programs in high-demand fields, and faculty who care. Swoop into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. It's Week 17. The Jaguars and the Houston Texans coming up at NRG Stadium in Houston this Sunday. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff time. We'll go on the air at 10 o'clock with the Publix Tailgate Show. 12 noon with Countdown to Kickoff on the network, and then they'll put Total Leather at 1 o'clock. Chris Manhertz coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Jags tight end. We'll get his thoughts on the game coming up and the matchup against the Houston Texans. Let's take a look now at the injury report presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, it's officially out today, and let's see. The couple players that did not practice in yesterday's work. Let's get the actual practice.
I got it here. I got it for you.
I had it right here.
You got it?
I got it. Okay, so let's start with the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence and Ross Matisic, the long snapper, did not participate yesterday. Both were limited today. Lawrence with a toe, Ross Matisic with back spasms, as Doug Pederson put it earlier in the week. The other guys were all limited today. Foley Fatukasi was out there with an ankle issue. Brandon Sheriff with an abdomen issue and an ankle issue. Trayvon Walker with his ankle issue. And Andrew Wingard with a shoulder issue. All those guys limited for the Jaguars today. So,
yeah, the Houston Texans, looking at their report, a couple of things to watch here. You know, in the game against Tennessee, they lost Titus Howard, who was a guard, to a concussion. He was full go today. And then what was kind of odd in that game, so once he got hurt, they put another guy in, Jimmy Morrissey, another offensive lineman, and then he sustained a concussion in that game. They ended up having to go to a third-team offensive guard, really fourth-team offensive guard, because Kenyon Green was the starter that wasn't active for that game anyway. They go to Justin McCray to play that guard spot. So I think that's going to be something to watch, just because that's a lot of offensive linemen at one position that were down in that game with concussions. So we'll see what happens with that.
It's already, as we said, a beat-up Texans team. a handful of key players are on injured reserve already this year. The Jaguars still have the fewest players used in games this year in the NFL. Only 60 players used in games.
They've been very healthy,
Yeah, very lucky.
Knocking on wood there. I mean, it's unfortunate that you lost a couple key guys in the last couple weeks with Smoot and Cam Robinson. And I hate it, because those guys are good football players. They're leaders. Love the effort that Smoot plays with each and every week. And love that Cam Robinson has taken a lot of steps up this year in his performance. And Smoot, I think it was a contract year for him. You hate it in that situation, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to make sure that you have a contract. And I hope the surgery went well. I heard that surgery has already happened with both guys, and I hope everything went great.
Hope so too, for sure. Those guys, key pieces to this team. The Jaguars did make some roster moves earlier, and Jeremiah Ledbetter signed to the active roster from the practice squad. He was a game day elevation in New York, right? I think he had a half sack in the game, if not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he did. He had a half sack and signed to the active roster, and he did a pretty good job. He was active. It looked like he belonged, and that's a good thing.
He's been at it for a while. He was in the league in 2017. He
exactly.
played 16 games with the Lions that year.
Yeah, he's been around 3 years, and so they still have one roster spot open. And will they fill that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But and I'm sure that And here's the thing with roster spots now in the league. It's less of urgency to fill them sometimes because you have the practice squad.
Yeah.
And you can elevate guys off of the practice squad. And some teams like to keep roster spots open for this time of year because what you see typically at the end of the season is that teams start to pilfer other teams' practice squad. So in other words, let's say, a team that's out of the running, let's say the Falcons, for example, okay, they're out of it, okay, and they're trying to stockpile some young prospects for the future. So they have either released maybe some veteran guys or they've placed some guys on injured reserve that were borderline, guys that probably can play in a week or so, but they're like, let's put them on IR. That'll give us the ability to steal somebody else's practice squad guy. And so a lot of teams like to keep a roster spot open because, let's say somebody comes after one of the Jaguars practice squad guys. Could you keep that roster spot open for, hey, maybe we got to sign this guy if we want to keep him in the future, or, to these two guys, or maybe somebody becomes available for a football team that's got some injuries that's maybe getting ready to get into the playoffs and they add a guy at the last minute that can help them. So there's flexibility by keeping a roster spot open.
The Jaguars also signed Garrett Sanborn to the practice squad, long snapper who's played in 163 games in the NFL. So in case Matisic is
that tells me
not
something
right.
now. That tells me something too. That maybe Matisic is a question mark this week because you don't typically go out and sign an older long snapper if your long snapper is just fine and dandy.
Right. Well, but even if there is a hiccup later in the week, you got to have somebody that's done it before. That is a specialized skill set.
I'd say he's done it.
Yeah, a time or two, 163 times.
Yeah, that'd be about 10 years, I think, right?
I would say so. Yeah, so there you have it. The injury report is in. The Jaguars and the Houston Texans coming up. But we'll take a timeout. We'll come back in a moment. Chris Manhertz will join us on set. We'll get his thoughts on the Texans matchup this week and everything going on around the Jaguars. We'll take a look back at a key play from the Dallas game, Logs.
One of my favorite plays of the year, and one of the guys that had a lot to do with the success of that play will be right here in just a minute.
And we'll get his thoughts on that play as well. So if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network. Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your Workforce Solutions Reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Duval! Are you looking for that gift for that ultimate Jaguars fan? Look no further. Visit your local Total Wine, Winn-Dixie, Browdy's, Golden Ox, and many other fine retailers to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars Whiskey Collector bottle today. Every bottle is produced, engraved, labeled, and numbered at Citrus Distillers, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Support local whiskey. Duval!
Unlock your potential at the University of North Florida. A top public university with more than 100 majors, UNF is number 1 among state schools for the highest percentage of graduates employed in Florida. Affordable tuition, programs in high-demand fields, and faculty who care. Swoop into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more.
Hi, I'm Chef Justin Timnery, Florida's culinary ambassador. If you've enjoyed preparing fresh from Florida recipes, then you're going to love the Fresh from Florida Club. As a member, you'll be able to search and save delicious recipes, create custom menus, and ask me your cooking questions. Each month, you'll also get a list of what's in season, so you can make your family the freshest meals possible. It's free and easy to sign up. And best of all, you'll be supporting Florida's farmers, ranchers, and fishermen. Join the club at followfreshfromflorida.com today.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. It is Thursday. It's Week 17. The Jaguars and the Houston Texans coming up. And country superstar Kenny Chesney returns to Jacksonville April 14th. Tickets on sale. There are a few remaining. And don't miss the I Go Back tour with special guest Kelsey Ballerini at Daly's Place. Visit dailysplace.com today. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman and Chris Manhertz, Jaguars tight end, back with us. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're good, man. It's a good place to be. First place in the AFC South. Still business to attend to. We all know what's going to happen in Week 18. But from a Jaguar perspective in that locker room, we're hearing all the things from the head coach this week and guys in the locker room that you got to, some things to get right with the Texans this week after what happened in Week 5. So you got to look at this week like, hey, let's go get this one, right?
Yeah, I think we owe these guys one, especially, obviously after, we played them. I think it was Week 5 or in the earlier course of the season. But it's an exciting time at the same time. It's another opportunity, another week to go out there and put a good brand of football out there for the Jags.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back a little bit. By the way, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Likewise.
Yeah, it was nice having the weekend off. We were just talking about that. The NFL schedule makers were kind to us.
Felt like a mini bye week.
So, how many Christmas gift tickets did you have to buy in New York?
I had quite a few. I had the usual, immediate family, and then I had about 40 students from my high school show up. So it was pretty cool.
Wait a minute, nice. Did you say 42?
It was about 40 students from Cardinal Spellman High School came out for support. They were on the sidelines pregame, so it was definitely cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, 40-some-odd students, you paid the freight?
A little bit half and half,
Good.
but it was just a collaboration between a fundraiser and what I was doing with the school, so it all worked out, and everybody was happy about it.
That's awesome.
How many students are at Cardinal Spellman in the Bronx, right?
About, to my knowledge, I think 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool. How many family members? So you got 42 for the school.
This one was pretty low key. It was probably about maybe 8 family members, immediate
that's not
family,
bad for
parents,
50
brothers.
tickets.
Yeah.
New York prices,
A little different.
Santa Chris showed up.
Oh,
That's
my
right.
goodness.
All right, so let's rewind a little bit now to this Dallas game. It was a wild one. We haven't really talked to you until since it's been a little
Well,
bit.
because last Thursday it was the game,
and the holiday,
and there was a play that happened. And we got to go back to the Dallas game, and it was a play that I remember very well because we actually I drew it up in the film room, and because it was Christmas week, didn't have a coach that had the time to do it because they're busy with the short week. And there were a couple components of why the double move touchdown to Zay Jones happens when you have a play like that. First of all, you got to have the time. And then you also have to have the play fake and the defensive back to get him isolated and have him bite. You come in the factor of time because it's kind of a naked bootleg by Trevor. And do we have the play that we can run?
We've got the play. Let's see if we can see it. If you're watching on Jaguars.com or Jaguars social media, the video of the double move to Zay Jones. You'll
All right,
see
there's
him.
Chris right there. Dante Fowler. The play action is what you're hoping it kind of gets him to pull down the line of scrimmage, but he didn't really do that to you, did he?
No, he didn't, and that's one of the tougher blocks. A player like Dante Fowler, he's been around for a while, so he sniffs out things real quick. And as you could see, I had him for a bit. He hit me with a nasty spin move, but thankfully I had the ability to recover, and Trevor was able to connect with Zay.
Yeah, and see, those are the things that I think sometimes people follow the ball, and I'm not trying to criticize anybody because it's natural for your eyes to follow the ball. All they see is Trevor. What a great throw! Look at Zay, he's wide open, touchdown. Trevor's great. Zay is great. Yeah, Chris Manhertz, he's okay. But that's a play that, look, if you don't make that block, that play doesn't happen. That was a thing of beauty and a great block. When you're trying to block a defender like that's athletic as Dante Fowler is, because we've seen him, he's been here before. He's as athletic as anybody, especially in open space, because you're blocking him in an open space. That was a great job.
I appreciate that, and those are one of those blocks where you're pretty much left on an island, and you kind of have to be in sync with the quarterback and him reading your block and getting in the right place to slide and ensuring that he completes the pass. So overall, it was a great play and probably one of my favorite plays of the year as well.
That's you'd like to have that play where the defender just goes running down the line of scrimmage and you go, you sucker.
One would
and you
think.
just pat him on the butt as he goes by. But Dante was on it now. He did a pretty good job.
Definitely was.
Yeah, good to see Chris Manhertz with us. Let's move forward now to this Houston Texans team. And just in general, when you turn on the film the last month or so, these guys are in games. They're fighting. They got some injuries. There's some key pieces out, but they're in all these games. They're right there in the fourth quarter, and that tells you a lot, I think, about the heart of this football team in Houston.
Oh, yeah, this is a team that we definitely obviously can't overlook. They've been playing some really good football as of late, and we got our work cut out for us as well this week. But, just trusting our process, trusting our preparation, same type of preparation we've been doing the past couple of weeks, we're confident that we could get the job done.
The defense of the Texans is not one that's overly complicated. It's a Lovie Smith defense. For most teams, you see a lot of cover two out of them. Last week they faced the Titans, and it's Derrick Henry-esque, so they were bringing a lot of single high safeties, where bringing a safety down in the box. What do you guys expect to see from the Texans defense? Do you expect to see kind of like what you got the last time, which was a lot of cover two show?
Yeah, just based on tendencies, they play a lot of cover two. They will play single high as well. So we just kind of have to be prepared and ready for our cues and tendencies of what the defense is giving us. But look, their D-line up front is pretty good as well. You have Jerry Hughes, number 55, veteran pass rusher. He's been around for a while. He knows how to set up his rushes, savvy, athletic. I think this is maybe his 12th or 13th year in the league.
13, yeah.
Yeah, he's
66 career sacks. He's was kind of a late bloomer, first-round pick of Indy. Didn't do much there, goes to Buffalo, and all of a sudden, whoa, guy's a good football player.
Yeah, his resume speaks for itself.
What does he do the best? What does he do very well? When he's on, what makes him so good?
I think overall he does everything well. He sets the edge pretty well in the run game. Pass rush moves, like I said, he's pretty savvy. He's been around for a while. He knows how to set up his rushes, keep the offensive tackles off balance. Just an overall good football player. So we definitely have our work cut out for us.
When you say that he's been around, this game on Sunday will be his 200th career game.
Wow.
That's a lot of football games.
That is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of football games. And I know that Lovie Smith, after this past game, singled him out because of how well he's played, how he's been a leader. And I know that there's a guy on the other side that's a young player that's playing pretty well. I want to make sure I say this name right, but it's Ogbo Okoronkwo. 45 for people that'll be watching on film. Kind of a young version of a Jerry Hughes, a guy that's really active, and he had 2 sacks this past game. And when I watched the film, I noticed Jerry Hughes because he's been around forever. But then my eyes also went to 45 because he made me take my eyes to him because he's been making plays. So 2 guys that you guys will have your hands full with.
Yeah, 45 is another one. Good player, high motor. Like I said, all the traits that you would want in a defensive end, pass rusher. So we got our work cut out for us, but we're excited for the challenge.
All right, so we go now from one of the oldest, I'm sure he's the oldest on that roster, 13th-year veteran in Hughes, to a rookie, safety, and a guy who's making plays on the back end for them in Jalen Petrie, rookie out of Baylor. What stands out about his game on tape? He's got 126 tackles this year at safety spot.
I mean, 126 tackles at safety at this point in the year. Obviously, it speaks for itself. High motor player, very athletic. And he's not afraid to get in there, get in the mix, especially playing down in the box at times. So another guy that we have to prepare for, be on the lookout for, and have a plan for.
Yeah, a real active guy, and those 126 tackles leads the NFL amongst all rookies, which is impressive. And I think the 4 interceptions is pretty close if not the rookie lead. And you're right, he's impressive. He does play down in the box. He does play well in space, and there's not many rookies that jump out at the safety position first year having 4 interceptions, 126 tackles. I mean, that's an impressive number, and it's kind of a sign of this Texans team. They have the second most number of games played by rookies in the National Football League, a young team, and the one characteristic or trait that I see in them is that they play hard, and that's a really strong trait. And you guys are definitely going to get a team that plays hard.
Yeah, and I think that's reflective of, from up top, the coaching. You could tell while preparing for a team how we see them play on film, their pursuit to the ball, their hustle, their energy, what type of team we're going against. So we definitely know that going into it.
What kind of challenge is it when you see a guy like Petrie, they bring an extra guy in, all of a sudden you're counting things are different, right? I mean, what is, as a offensive line and then a tight end right off a tackle, what are you looking for in that instance?
Just, typical stuff, blitzes, pressures, the mic point might change on any given play or run, but a lot of that just comes from, film study and preparation throughout the week and making sure we're geared towards handling that come game day.
Have you guys talked about, or are you prepared for the environment? Because Sunday is going to be New Year's Day. You've got a football team that's 2-12-1. And a lot of fans, kind of watching from a curiosity standpoint, not so much wins or losses, but what's going to happen with the draft and in the spring and all that kind of stuff. So it's not exactly going to be a playoff environment, which you guys got a lot of in the last couple games. You prepared for this different environment?
Oh, for sure. And I think that's a credit to, I guess, the adversity that we faced throughout the course of this whole year. Dallas game, hostile environment as well. And every game, obviously, for the past couple of weeks, the stakes are high. It's almost like a playoff mentality for every game. So that's something that we're prepared for and we're fully equipped for.
Yeah, all right. So moving ahead here, obviously in Houston this week, Tennessee here in Week 18, but coming off this Christmas holiday, how's the focus been? Like, everybody's back, everybody's rolling, ready to go. Monday, a little walkthrough, and it's business as usual?
100% business as usual. Doug does an exceptional job of, again, keeping things in perspective, letting us know where we are and what we need to get to in order to obviously fulfill our goals as a team. So focus has been excellent. We had a great week of practice today. Great day of practice today, great day of practice yesterday, and guys are on the same page.
All right, so have a little fun here. So what did you get anything good for Christmas?
You know, this Christmas was a little bit different. I have a 17-month-old. He just started walking probably 2 days before Christmas.
Oh,
so
boy.
That was the best gift ever.
Yeah, it's a great gift, but it also can be a curse.
Now we need to put a gate somewhere in the house, but at this point, it's just fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. New Year's Eve on Saturday night. So you got a New Year's resolution?
I'm not a big resolution guy. I'm just a big process guy. My goal is always, to have a better year than the previous in any way, shape, or form. So it's pretty simple for me.
Yeah, that's good. Well, there's no partying Saturday night.
What's that?
It's New Year. Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, he seems like the type.
Yeah. nothing like getting bed checked, on New Year's Eve in a hotel room in some other city.
Might have to bed check the radio crew.
Might need to bed check you.
I'm here.
Everybody.
I'm right here. I'll be in this chair. I'm not going to Houston. Yeah, so it is considering what happened earlier in the season now, to turn it like you guys have, and then to have Tennessee do what they do, that's their own issue. To actually get back to the top of this division, it fulfills everything that Doug has been talking about, right? The process and sticking with it, and all the goals are still out there. And to actually see that come true now, that just strengthens the message.
Right, it definitely does, but no mistake about it. We're not there yet. We still have unfinished business to take care of, and that's the mentality that permeates throughout the whole locker room. We know that, we're just taking it 1 week at a time and controlling the things that we can control ultimately.
In your career, how many times have you been in the playoff hunt so far?
This will be my second time.
Second time. The last time was when?
Might have been 2017 with the Panthers.
Okay. So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
It is fun. Winning is fun.
Yeah.
And it's very rewarding knowing the work that you put in and seeing what comes of it. It's very rewarding.
Yeah, having an opportunity to play in the tournament makes everything fun. It makes coming to work fun. I've always said this, they pay you for the regular season, but in the postseason, play for free. I mean, you play for the glory and for the victories, and that's it. But, man, the regular season you get paid for, okay, but coming up, if you can get in, oh, yeah.
You see what happens after you get in.
That's right. You're playing, I don't want to use a gambling analogy because I'm not a gambler, but I've used this analogy in the past, kind of playing with house money. It's like you're gambling and having fun with somebody else's money. It's just fun. I remember back in 1996 when we were in a very similar situation, we strung some games together. When we got down to the last couple games of the season, we needed to win to get in, and it was an amazing ride. And then once we got into the playoff, the amazing ride went notches higher that never you could have even have imagined. I wish I could go back and do it again.
You're going to ride with these guys. Got to get some business done, though, first. Chris, it's great to see you. Thanks for the time, as always, man.
Appreciate you guys having me.
That's Chris Manhertz joining us, Jaguars tight end, here on Jaguars Happy Hour. The Jaguars headed to Houston this Sunday in Week 17 to face off against the Houston Texans. And then, of course, Week 18, a winner-take-all battle for the AFC South here at TIAA Bank Field. Just limited tickets available now for that game, 633-2000, or visit jaguars.com/tickets. Playoff tickets are on sale for season ticket members now and the general public tomorrow. Every team that's in first place after December 15th must put them on sale. That's why they've gone on sale this week. And, of course, if the Jaguars win the division, they'll have a home playoff game at TIAA Bank Field in Week 1 of the postseason. Coming up, it's the second hour of our programming tonight on the Jaguars Radio Network. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach, Doug Pederson, coming up in just a moment on the Doug Pederson Show and get his thoughts about the week, the run right now coming off Christmas, and then moving on to the Houston Texans and the approach this week of starters playing against Houston. We'll hear from the head coach in just a moment. Thanks to our entire crew, David Cho, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, Chris Manhertz, And for Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick. Thank you for listening and for watching. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show, brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. JP Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
And welcome in. It's Week 17, the Doug Pederson Show. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman and Jaguars head coach Doug Pederson as the Jaguars head to NRG Stadium in Houston to face the Texans. First place now in the AFC South, though. A little different feeling. Still controlling your fate in the division, but the task at hand this week, the Texans, then it's on to the Titans. What's the challenge of keeping the team focused on the task this week first?
That's just it, keeping the team focused. Obviously, we understand what this team did to us the first time around, Week 5. It was a 13-6 ball game, and I also got to remind our team that we're different. We're a better football team now, here in the month of December than we were in Week 5, and so you're hoping that things go a little bit better this time around, but. The biggest challenge is to keep guys focused on this week, not looking into next week. And it's a good football team and a team that is kind of dangerous, because they're not playing for anything. And I had to remind the team of just a year ago how they spoiled the hopes of a Indianapolis Colts team that came in here and, lost a football game to miss out on the postseason. So, These are must wins for us. Team understands that. There's a sense of urgency, and guys are focused and ready to go.
A lot of people may wonder what the approach was going to be this week, just because the game has meaning from the standpoint of if you end up in a tie in the last game of the regular season, okay, then this is a tiebreaker and it means something. But would you rest players this week or would you not? And having said that, when you met the team for the very first time after all of this is known, what was the first thing that you said to your football team?
First thing I said is this is a must win, and we're going in with every healthy body that we can, and for me too, this is a different situation a little bit from the standpoint of we can get to 500, right, 8-8, with a chance to put us at 9-8, at the end of the season. So that's a winning record. I think of the history of the Jaguars and Shad and his history and track record here recently, and he hasn't had too many of these. Winning seasons, and so for me, it's a little more motivation that way, and I want the guys to understand just how meaningful and how powerful and impactful that is to set this program on a path that year in and year out we expect to win and have winning seasons, moving forward.
And this is a division opponent there's a consecutive game streak going on. I mean, those are things you want to change when you're talking about changing the culture.
Exactly. And those are things that I've reminded the team of. And, you're changing the culture around here, and the guys understand that, and we're putting ourselves on a path that, hopefully we win, a lot more, games, regular season games as the years go on. But two, we expect to win. That's the challenging thing now with this football team is getting them to believe and really the expectation that we're going into every football game, no matter who we play. It's kind of that faceless opponent, so to speak, that we expect to win. And the guys believe that. And, we have to understand just the impact of that in games like this. Whether they mean something or not to the outside world, to us, they got to mean something.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us. Let's talk about a couple key injuries now and the changes since those. And Cam Robinson is out, obviously, so Walker Little stepped in there at left tackle. Last week, though, DeJuan Smoot goes down with an Achilles injury. What are the plans for that spot, and how has Walker Little played at left tackle so far?
Yeah, Walker stepped in last week, did a nice job in that game. Started off a touch rough, but really settled in and did some nice things. And he's the type of player we saw back in training camp where the more reps he gets, right, the more practice time, he becomes a better football player. And so we're excited about his opportunity and his growth right now. And really it kind of gives us sort of an insight to who he is, as a football player. And we're excited about that. And then on the defensive side, it's unfortunate with Smoot and, losing a great pass rusher. You lose some of that presence of the pass rush, with him and what he's been able to do this season. But, I think of guys like Josh Allen, is going to have to really step up now to get Trayvon Walker back, and get him in the fold. And, Caleb on Chason is going to take more meaningful reps now on defense as opposed to special teams. And, it's just Arden Key is going to be a big factor in there. And then, we've got a young Deshaun Dixon who, whether or not he's up or not, is going to have to, be ready to go, in these coming weeks because, with a guy like Smoot, we've lost some pass rush, and now it's going to have to get spread out amongst the troops.
Yeah, you talk about losing some pass rush productivity. I think what you lose a lot, too, is some leadership with DeJuan Smoot and Cam Robinson because, watching the film on those guys week in and week out, the one thing that you can count on with those guys every week is consistent, outstanding effort.
Exactly right. And yeah, that's what I've seen, with Cam. Cam, still a young player, but he's kind of come into his own as a leader this year. And I think that's also a part of what Brandon Scherf has brought to our football team in that offensive line room. And Cam's done that. We know who Smoot is, and he's always been that type of leader with the defense and really with the team. And he's had an impact that way. And those, it's hard to replace. It's hard to replace leadership like that. But my job too is to challenge the next guy to step up and see who's going to take on that role.
Let's get to the quarterback now. Trevor Lawrence, of course, still continuing to roll and playing better and better as the weeks go along. Executed that plan in New York very well, but I'm curious about what you've seen out of him in these meaningful games. When it comes down, you have to go win. You're trailing in a game. They figure out a way to go take the lead and fight and win. And when did you start to see that side of the quarterback, the killer instinct, the competitive nature of that? And has that grown as the season has gone along?
It has grown, and obviously we keep going back to the Denver game in London, and I think that was a sort of a light bulb moment for him and probably the offense, in general, and really from that point forward, we've just seen that steady progression with the quarterback, with Trevor, and you come out of the bye, right, and now you're playing. You're still playing meaningful games, and all of them are really must-win situations and must-wins, for us as a football team to put ourselves in this position. And you've just seen the toughness now with the injury, right, with the toe. You're seeing how he can take a Wednesday off in practice, still get meaningful mental reps, and still come back on Thursday, Friday, and still perform at a high level on Sunday, and how he's leading the football team. And you're seeing the guys around him even, get more comfortable with what we're doing as an offense and just understanding the entire scheme. And so I think the team is also improving. The offense is improving around Trevor, and he's just, he's that type of guy now that really – wants the ball in his hand, and I probably couldn't say that first part of the season, but now he's wanting that, and he's playing well, and we've just got to continue, keeping him on that track.
Can you get the ball out of his hand so he doesn't take that hit like he did in New York?
that one, yeah, we had a little conversation after that one last week on the sideline, and those are the things. Those are the things. Those young quarterbacks and young moments like that where. They're teachable moments for us. You don't want them to take, that type of hit and get thrown down that hard. Throw the ball away. Just get the ball out of your hand. Throw it away. You don't get hit. We live to play another down. And so those are still the things that still kind of creep up that, we're still coaching and trying to coach out of him.
One of the things that I think has been apparent this year that he's got comfort in the scheme, comfort in your offense. And I think part of the way that you can understand and see that is that he's got more confidence using his legs at certain moments. And for a long time, Trevor really didn't want to run. I think he was a little hesitant to run, and for whatever reason. But when he does run now, it's like he's more confident and quicker with that decision to do so.
He is, and we encourage him to run. Get the offense out of trouble on a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 9. Get that first down, even a first down to another first down by running the football. Whether it be on a naked bootleg or something like that, and he can just carry it like he did against the Jets a couple of times. And those are all things that we encourage him to do. Be smart about it, protect himself, and those are meaningful big plays that keep your offense on the field, number one, and really put you in a position to score points once you get down into the red zone.
All right, Coach, let's go to the Microsoft Surface and get a social media question for you about the upcoming opponent. Who is the most important player to stop to win on Sunday? This is from @NickPopeJoy, and there's obviously more than one, I'm sure, with the Houston Texans. You mentioned it. They're playing hard football right now, playing tough for Lovie Smith, but who stands out on that team?
I'm going to tell you, this team has changed just a little bit now, offensively. Davis Mills and Driscoll, these two quarterbacks. I mean, it's kind of a two-headed monster right now. They've lost some of their top running back, obviously, and they're using these quarterbacks now in kind of a dual threat. Davis is the guy that can move around and throw. We know Driscoll can run and run the RPO game. He did that in college a lot. So I look at those two guys, and then you go back to the Jets and what the Jets did. There was a change of pace when their second string quarterback came in against our defense. So that to me is going to be a matchup that is going to be critical in this football game that we handle, defensively. And then I don't think there's one guy. I mean, I would say, 96, the D lineman, right now is a train wreck. He's a pass protection nightmare up front. He's a 3 technique. He can get after the passer. I think of guys like that. Kirksey on defense, the middle linebacker, is a guy that's smart. These guys are downhill. Again, it's not about one guy, and that's what you see with this football team on defense is they fly around, they play fast, they can wreak havoc. They're a movement type front, meaning they're gonna stunt their line. Their linebackers are downhill. And we've got to be prepared for that. That takes all 5-6 guys, including tight ends, to be able to handle all that movement.
You talk about the 2 quarterback system that they run. They had Damian Pierce, Nico Collins at wide receiver before that, and that's changed. The one consistent thing watching the film, their offensive line's playing pretty well. And I think the consistent part about them as a team, their effort has been very consistent as well, which a lot of times you don't see that with a team that has been struggling record-wise, but, I mean, a lot of that credit's got to go to Lovie Smith because they're playing hard. In the last game they won, but then the 2 games before that against Kansas City and Dallas, they're right in those ball games.
Kansas City, they take them to overtime and obviously lose that in a close game. Dallas is obviously Dallas did a great job at the end to go the length of the field. Really, they stopped them on 4th and goal and took the ball the length of the field. Houston had a chance to go up 10 points in that game. I mean, yeah, you're right. That's what we see as coaches. That's what we see, and that's what we're trying to point out to our football team is this is a good football team. Just like last week, it's very similar to last week from the standpoint of these guys hustle. They give great effort. And they fly around and they're playing with a lot of passion. And those are teams that are dangerous. That really, they're playing for pride. They're playing to maybe spoil our chances or whatever it might be. And they're dangerous football teams. And so that's why we have to be ready to go in this one.
And final thought with you here, you got to score to settle with this team too. I mean, they got you back in week 5. It's been 9 in a row, at least historically. The last, 10, 12 years, the Texans have dominated this head-to-head series. Time to avenge that and keep marking these streaks off the list this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's always. It seems like every week there's another first, and this is obviously another one of those firsts. If we can pull this one off, and got to go on the road. We've had a challenge of playing on the road in another dome environment. We struggled last time we were in a dome, and those are all those things that creep back in. But again, it's my job to make sure that the guys are ready and focused, and looking ahead to playing on Sunday.
Doug, thanks for the time as always. Keep it rolling. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us. This is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The holidays are almost over, so don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. It's your last chance to get the best deals of the year on Ford trucks and SUVs. Light up your New Year's celebration in a Ford F-150 with available Pro Power onboard, or roll into the new year in a Ford Explorer SUV with available four-wheel drive. Don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event. Inventory is arriving daily, but hurry. The Holiday Your Way sales event ends January 3rd. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back. It's the Doug Pederson Show. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to head coach Doug Pederson for joining us in the opening segment each and every week. It is Week 17. The Jaguars face the Houston Texans. Well, the Jaguars are playing everybody. Let's go, right? I mean, it's NFL football. There's no such thing as a meaningless game, the coach said earlier this week, so full steam ahead.
Well, I like that approach. I mean, it's what you want to hear, and I think momentum is everything in this game, and to be able to carry momentum going into and the ability to play well, I think it's hard to take a week off and then to return the next week and say, okay, we're gonna flip the switch and be ready to go against Tennessee. I just don't think you can do that. I think maybe some teams it might be in their best interest of doing that, but I think it's in the Jaguars' best interest to continue to try to win this game in Houston, even though it would help from a tie standpoint. The last game of the year, and I love Doug's approach.
Yeah.
And was glad to hear him say that, and that's what I was hoping he would say as we were heading into this week.
I mean, if you're the Patriots and you have Tom Brady and you've won 7 straight division titles, you might have a different approach, right? Because you can turn it off and on, most likely. This team hasn't learned how to do that yet. They, as John Oehser said the other day, they've been good for about 3 weeks. You know, like they're just.
Well, no, I wouldn't agree with that. I mean,
his point was that it's a blip compared to some other teams.
Correct.
It's fresh. It's new.
Correct.
They haven't proven it time and again.
And how many times have we heard coaches, players, and many coaches and players say this, that it's a week-to-week league?
That's right.
Okay, well, it is a week-to-week league, but there is carryover from a week-to-week basis, and I think that it's important that you play well this week. It allows you to continue that momentum into a game that's going to be for the playoff marbles. And I hope that the Jaguars can get this game this week, come out of it very healthy. And in a perfect world, you'd find this team in Houston getting a comfortable lead. And this is hopeful, okay? And this is wishful thinking, maybe.
Are you locking this?
No, I'm not locking.
Oh, I thought you were going to lock it.
But wouldn't it be great if you got a real nice lead, and then you could say, okay, we're going to cherry pick some guys to take out to make sure that they get refreshed and ready for this big game coming up against Tennessee. I would like that. But then again, the last 3 games that Houston has played, it's been down to the wire. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens with that, of course. We'll come back in a moment. Jaguars' offensive rhythm. We'll see if they can get that going, keep it going. After a couple extra days off around the Christmas holiday, defensive talk coming up as well. The Jaguars and the Texans coming up. The Texans have won the last 9 meetings head-to-head against the Jaguars, including back in Week 5, a 13-6 win here in Jacksonville. This is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Hi, I'm Chef Justin Timnery, Florida's culinary ambassador. If you've enjoyed preparing fresh from Florida recipes, then you're going to love the Fresh from Florida Club. As a member, you'll be able to search and save delicious recipes, create custom menus, and ask me your cooking questions. Each month, you'll also get a list of what's in season, so you can make your family the freshest meals possible. It's free and easy to sign up. And best of all, you'll be supporting Florida's farmers, ranchers, and fishermen. Join the club at followfreshfromflorida.com today.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
We are back. It is the Doug Pederson Show, and it's JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to the head coach, Doug Pederson, joining us at the top of the show, 5 o'clock every Thursday, at least when the Jaguars don't have a Thursday night football game, which they had last week. So it's been a couple weeks since we've had the Doug Pederson Show, and the Jaguars, since then, have moved into first place in the AFC South. The Jags win on Thursday, of course, combined with the Titans' loss on Christmas Eve, moved the Jaguars to the top of the division. It all comes down to Week 18 here at TIAA Bank Field for the AFC South Division title. The game day and time still to be announced after the results of this coming weekend's games. They'll figure all that out, and then maybe an announcement late Monday night after that game or towards the end of that game if it's decided, or Tuesday morning. We'll see what happens, what the league has in mind.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And again, I said this before, I hope that it's a Sunday game. You know, time slot, 4 o'clock, prime time, either one, but I hope it's a Sunday game, just so that allows the Jaguars to have a full week of preparation on a week that Tennessee is going to get a lot of rest.
What's the next step for Trevor Lawrence right now, down the stretch?
Consistency.
Keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, you got to keep doing what you're doing. And you hope that it's at the same level that he's doing. He's doing a tremendous job of protecting the football. In the last, 7 games, he's only had 1 interception. I mean, that's incredible. He's turned the ball over on fumbles a couple times, but those can happen. But he's been making really good decisions, and the consistency of making good decisions is if you're going to be a franchise guy, then you have to be able to be consistent at that level. And that's difficult to do. I mean, that's why when you got a guy like Tom Brady who's still doing it at the age of 45 or 46 or however old he is, it's like, are you kidding me? He's been doing it for how long? It's just incredible. Same thing with Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, these guys are doing it week in and week out, and it's just like no problem. It's just like who they are. Well, now we're like excited because Trevor's turned the corner. Well, you want to get to that point to where the conversation is that that's just who he is.
Yeah, right. It's what it is.
Instead of, man, hasn't he been great in the last 7 games? Well, it'd be great if you're like, hey, that's our quarterback, man. He's that good. That's where you want to be.
It is interesting. He's got the largest increase in passer rating from the first season to the second season in NFL history right now. 24.1 point increase. Mm-hmm. Second place was Carson Wentz in 16 to 17, 22.6. Both coached by Doug Peterson, by the way. Funny how that works.
And third was Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he's pretty good, too.
At a 19.5 point jump from year 1 to year 2, which is pretty impressive. And
you always expect some kind of improvement year 1 to year 2, but to see it at numbers like that tells you how big of a difference this is.
You go back and you look at Trevor's numbers from last year. He was sub 60% completion rate, 59.6. He had 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and that's been a complete 180. I mean, it's tremendous. His rating was again a 71.9, so we know about the big jump there that you were just talking about. But those numbers that I'm referring to, the touchdowns and interceptions, last year, again, he had 12 touchdowns. So this year he's got 24, so he's doubled it with still 2 games to go. Last year he had 17 interceptions, and this year he only has 7. That's a big jump. I mean, big jump. When we were all hopeful that there would be big improvement from year 1 to year 2, I mean, we were all hopeful. But did we ever imagine that it would be to this level? I think if anybody actually thought that it would be at this level, then they like to hear themselves and prop themselves up as being highly important. But I don't think anybody imagined that kind of improvement.
You want to name names? Who was doing that?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to name a list.
That if anybody thought that it could be that, I mean, that's a tremendous job. And credit to Trevor because it's, And here's the other thing. He didn't do it alone.
Right. That's right.
And that's important to remember. And that he didn't do it by himself. He did it with some great coaching, and he's doing it with some great coaching that he's getting right now. And that's from his positional coach, Mike McCoy, to the offensive coordinator, Press Taylor, to the head coach, play caller, Doug Pederson, to the outstanding coaching that they're getting across the board on the offense, and everybody's getting better. But then also the unselfishness that his weapons play the game with, I think you can't underestimate that. Because you have Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Marvin Jones Jr., Jamal Agnew, Travis Etienne, an offensive line. I mean, everybody has contributed to that. And it's great to have a young quarterback that has a cast of guys around him that love ball, that love to practice, really love to practice. Because if you got guys that are a diva, it becomes harder for a quarterback. And so, credit to the staff for bringing in guys of that caliber and of that makeup to surround a young quarterback with. That can't be understated.
All 3 are approaching, if not surpassing, career highs in different metrics already with 2 games to go. We're talking about Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram especially, and it's great to see.
Only Evan Ingram, because Zay's at a career high, and Evan Ingram has now achieved career high numbers. With 2 catches, Christian Kirk will achieve career highs in catches. He's already at a career high in yards. Christian does, 12 yards to reach 1,000. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, even going down to JaMycal Hasty. JaMycal Hasty's having a career year.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, if you look at touches and yardage output, rushing, receiving, he is at a career high himself.
And to your point about, if one guy's having a big game, the other guys prop him up. There's no divas. The play to Evan Ingram last week, where Zay Jones and Christian Kirk are out lead blocking.
That's the play I did on social media, and I showed that play on social media, and it was 2 plays that I showed by Evan Ingram. That was the first play, and I think it's out there already. And it was a tight end screen, and you got Christian and Zay out front leading the way on a block, and they do a great job. In fact, I think Christian blocks 2 guys, and then the guy that has to make the tackle is the linebacker from Alabama. What's his name again? The middle linebacker for the Jets.
We're on to the Texans.
Okay. Anyway, he makes the tackle way down the field. I mean,
Mosley, C.J.
Mosley. Thank you. That's what you want to have, and I think that's the amazing thing. And so when you move forward and you're looking to add pieces, if you can continue to find guys like that, and I know it's hard because every now and again you're going to find a Keyshawn, and he's a great player, and he's going to want the damn ball. But you got to be able to make sure that you can try to get those unselfish players like that. They're about team. And there was a quote this week by Zay Jones, and you'll probably remember it. And I think he was talking to you, JP, and he said that, look, we're all pieces to a puzzle. And when players really understand that, I think you got a great chance for success. And it was great to hear that from Zay Jones.
Let's come back. Jaguars defensive talk when we return. How do they match up this week against the Houston Texans? Can they continue to take the football away? A lot of questions down the stretch with the Texans this week and then the Tennessee Titans looming in Week 18 for all the marbles in the AFC South. This is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
The holidays are almost over, so don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. It's your last chance to get the best deals of the year on Ford trucks and SUVs. Light up your New Year's celebration in a Ford F-150 with available Pro Power onboard, or roll into the new year in a Ford Explorer SUV with available 4-wheel drive. Don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event. Inventory is arriving daily, but hurry. The Holiday Your Way sales event ends January 3rd. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for the best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, Brent Reber, and Joe Fortunato are with us as well. It's Week 17. The Jaguars face the Houston Texans. Our thanks to head coach Doug Pederson joining us in the opening segment each and every week. All right, the Jaguars defense on Thursday Night Football, they were up against sudden change, fumble. They get the blitz on third down, sack him, and then hold him to a field goal, and then shut them out the rest of the night. Solid effort. Had to get it done. Got it done.
I thought you were on to the Texans.
Yeah, we're moving on. My point is, how do they carry that momentum forward to the Houston Texans this week, a team that, you know, they're losing pieces, but, I mean, they're in the last 3 games. They won last week, and Nashville was nasty weather, all that, but they still won the football game, figured it out, got it done. So what's the matchup this week to look out for this Jaguars defense? How can they exploit it against Houston?
I think the challenge this week is the 2-quarterback system. And that's kind of interesting. And as a defense, you got to kind of change your mindset when you have Davis Mills in there versus Driscoll, and that can be different. And I think even defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell may call the game differently based upon which quarterback is in there. And Mills being more of the classic drop back, Driscoll's more of the read option type guy. And Driscoll's got some great speed. I know a lot of people have seen him around here, from his time in college. So he's a good football player, but that's the challenge. But the defense has got to remain opportunistic, and that's, I think, been the real key thing for them defensively over the last couple games against the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, had a couple key stops. They were kind of struggling to stop the Cowboys. The backs were kind of controlling the tempo of the game. Get a couple key stops there at the end, and, of course, the walk-off pick six, which was a big ball game. And then against Tennessee, you didn't start great against Derrick Henry, but you started to clean it up there towards the end, and then the offense scores some points, makes it more difficult for them.
The game flipped there, and they took advantage of it.
You just have to remain opportunistic and just get better incrementally, and I think they did a little bit of that against the Jets. And part of the reason that helped is that the Jets aren't a great offense.
Yes.
And Zach Wilson was a quarterback.
No.
And he's not very good. And isn't it good to be a Jaguars fan as opposed to being a Jets fan right now with the quarterbacks?
You can say that again.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen a second-year quarterback get booed like that?
I mean, how do you, as an that's tough for them,
I mean, I just don't see see that getting better.
What's the resolution there? I don't know. Who knows? That's their issue, though.
Well, I mean, Zach Wilson's got a guaranteed contract. You can't give up on him at this point. But the reality is that you need to bring in competition, because some of the statements that he made earlier in the year shows a clear lack of maturity and a lack of understanding the way reality is in the National Football League. And he's learned the hard way, and the fans have given him a hard lesson. And so now it's up to him to get better in New York. But that's their problem, and that's not ours.
We'll come back in a moment. Injury report is out. We'll get into that a little later. Social media question for you, Logs. I know you're a big social media maven.
Let me check my social media account real quick.
Well, we already got one we've cherry-picked for you. We got you. You look. I mean, it's Twitter. It's a free website for now. You can check it out. Hey, it's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
If the last couple years have taught us anything, it's to show the ones we love how much we care. That's why Pet Paradise calls you by name from the moment you arrive. Why our pack leaders know each and every friend you like to play with out on the turf. And that you like some snuggles before you fall asleep. The more we see and get to know you, the more you'll see how much you mean to us. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Jags fans, Shaquille Griffin of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know you love when we put the QB in his place with a big interception, and now Luray Boyd Peanut Company is making every pick a winning play with the Peanut Pickoff. Every time the Jaguars make a pick, Luray Peanuts is going to donate to youth football initiatives throughout the Southeast, and the Jaguars Foundation will match every dollar. We get one play closer to victory, and our kids get to train for a brighter future. Everyone wins, except for the other team's QB. But hey, that's his problem.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
And welcome back. It is the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, and the 78th TaxSlayer Gator Bowl returns to the bank tomorrow. The number 21 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the 19th ranked South Carolina Gamecocks square off. For more, visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. There are a few tickets remaining, not many. Big crowd expected tomorrow afternoon here at TIAA Bank Field.
Are you going to be here for the game?
I'll be here for a little bit. We got regular Jaguar work during the day, so I'll do all the Jaguar stuff. I might stay for a little bit and then carry on.
Well, I hope South Carolina's equipment truck made it. They were driving around the stadium this morning trying to figure out where to go.
Oh, okay. Well, at least they made it to the stadium. That's step one, just finding the right portal to go in.
They were circling Lot J, and I'm going, I think they're trying to find a locker room maybe?
Nick Fedua and the field crew have done a great job, obviously, all year with all the changes of the Jaguars schedule, changing the field and everything. But, of course, it's gussied up and looking really great for the Gator Bowl coming up tomorrow.
And then it'll be turned around and looking really good for the Jaguars' last game against the Tennessee Titans. Kudos to the guys that take care of the grounds here at the bank.
They've had to change that field numerous times, like take the grass out all the way back on. I mean, it's incredible. It really is nice. So hope you'll make it out to the Gator Bowl tomorrow. Always a great time, but a really good game this year. Battle of 8 and 4 teams, Notre Dame and South Carolina. So the injury report is out, Logs, and the Thursday report. All these Jaguars players were limited today. We'll start with the players who did not practice Wednesday. Trevor Lawrence was limited today with his toe injury, but the last couple of weeks has been the same idea there. Don't practice Wednesday, get out there Thursday or Friday. Ross Matisic, long snapper, did not practice yesterday, limited today with a back issue, back spasms, Doug Pederson called it. So they've signed a veteran long snapper to the practice squad just in case. On game day, maybe he wakes up and things aren't going well. Safety Andrew Wingard with a shoulder, limited both days. Trayvon Walker, limited both days. That's a step in the right direction with his ankle issue. Brandon Sheriff, veteran offensive lineman, the guard with an abdomen issue and an ankle issue, battling through. It's limited both days, but he's out there. And Foley Fatakasi with an ankle issue, limited Wednesday and Thursday. What stands out from those? Anything?
Well, I mean, Trayvon Walker, it'd be nice to get him back, especially with the injury to Smoot, and hopefully he can work his way back, but you want to make sure that he's good to go before he goes back out there. But losing Smoot like that hurts. And hopefully Trayvon's good to go. Hopefully he can be healthy and productive. And Fatakasi, it'd be nice to get him back, but back playing well. Prior to missing this past game, it's just kind of been okay. Need to get him back playing well, because he was playing pretty well earlier in the year. And then the injuries have slowed him, wanted him to get back into that groove where he's been. The rest of the injuries, the concern about your long snapper, because, the snaps in New York were high, a little concerning. And will Matisic be ready to go? If not, the veteran guy that they signed, what's his name again, on the practice squad, he's like 160-some games played, so he's a veteran guy, which is nice to be able to have a veteran guy if you need to elevate him from the practice squad for game day. Got his name?
His name is Garrison Sanborn.
Sanborn, that's what it is.
He was with the Bills from 2009 to 16, and then Tampa Bay 17 and 18, Niners in 19. So it's been a little bit.
Yeah, he's been around a lot.
Yeah,
he's been around a lot.
So that's pull
that's
the
something
cord,
to keep an eye on.
Pull the cord in emergency.
Well, here's the reality. You've had a first-time kicker with the Jaguars, who has been pretty good.
And congratulations to him, AFC Special Teams Player of the Week, by the way.
Correct. And so you would like to be able to make sure that operation goes without interruption. Because sometimes when you have a change of a snapper or change of a holder, it can change the chemistry a little bit and the timing. So you would like to make sure that you try to keep that as solid as you can. So that's something I think to definitely keep an eye on going forward. And hopefully everybody else is trending in the right direction.
Logs, we're going to come back and get an answer out of you.
What do you got with answer to what?
A social media question. We're going to go to the Microsoft Surface. And we're going to get answers.
I'm looking at some of these questions now. There's some good ones. Good questions.
There's some good ones. There's some that are, but there's some good ones. And we'll pick a good one when we come back. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. At Five Star Credit Union, you inspire them to go the extra mile to meet your financial needs. That's why they offer Jaguars fans more banking options like better rates and no hidden fees. Their team is also dedicated to making the communities they serve stronger, volunteering their time and talents while donating millions to local nonprofits. Five Star Credit Union, FiveStarCU.org. Go Jags! Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
The holidays are almost over, so don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event going on now at your local Ford dealer. It's your last chance to get the best deals of the year on Ford trucks and SUVs. Light up your New Year's celebration in a Ford F-150 with available Pro Power onboard, or roll into the new year in a Ford Explorer SUV with available four-wheel drive. Don't miss the final days of the Holiday Your Way sales event. Inventory is arriving daily, but hurry. The Holiday Your Way sales event ends January 3rd. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
A Dream Finder's home is an amazing way to celebrate the holidays. Unwrap your family's future in a new St. Johns County community like Shearwater or Beacon Lake as 2022 comes to a close and 2023 awaits. What could be better than an expertly built, energy-efficient, move-in ready Dream Finder's home to enjoy everything that makes the holiday season merry and bright? How about an interest rate lock special from Dream Finders, which will secure your new home at a big savings? It's the holiday gift that keeps on giving. Happy holidays to all from Dream Finders Homes. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
We're back, baby. It's the Doug Pederson Show presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. It's Week 17. The Jaguars and the Houston Texans at NRG Stadium. 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff time. We're on the air on the network at noon with countdown to kickoff this Sunday as the Jaguars try to continue a winning streak and keep the momentum building toward the Week 18 matchup against the Tennessee Titans here at TIAA Bank Field for all the marbles. The AFC South Division title will be on the line. There are limited tickets available for that game, but they are going fast. Playoff tickets are for sale. That's a league rule. Any team that's in first place December 15th or later must put playoff tickets, potential home playoff game tickets, on sale. The Jags have done that as well.
And if you buy tickets, they will be refunded if there's not a playoff game.
Correct. So all that's going on, but the Jaguars have to handle business, or want to handle business, and they need to, in Houston this week. Let's go to social media. We'll go to the Microsoft Surface and check out what we have on Twitter. This is from @EvanoffJoel. How would you evaluate Walker Little's performance? Well, of course, the second-year tackle logs. A couple weeks ago played 15 snaps at right tackle, then flipped over and played 15 snaps at left tackle. Last week started at left tackle. What do you think so far?
I thought he's doing a pretty good job. I mean, that was only his fourth career start. And For a fourth career start, I thought he showed some nice athleticism. He gave up a few pressures, but I thought was solid. And, as long as he keeps getting better, because he's still, look, he's a second-year player. And the reality is a lot of people expect him to be an immediate impact guy because, he was a second-round pick, and we were told that he's going to be, starting caliber tackle. He's still young. He's still getting better. The first game that he played this year, a couple games ago against Dallas, had some plays that weren't so good. Had like 20 snaps, I think, in that game, or 30 snaps.
30, 15 on each side.
Had like 4 pressures, and one of those plays ended up having Cam Robinson get his knee hurt on, which was against Micah Parsons. Okay, great player, one of the best in the league. And then his past game, he settled down a little bit, had a pressure that was early, but he did give up a couple pressures. But I look, every team, I think, in the league would love to have a backup like Walker Little, I can tell you that. There's not a lot of teams in the league to have a backup like Walker Little with that athleticism, that length, and I'm sure he's looking forward to this game too, by the way.
Yeah,
he was Episcopal High School in Houston. He's which is, not the Episcopal High School here, but the Episcopal High School in Houston, where he was rated one of the top players coming out of high school in the nation. So pretty cool. But anyway, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, the question I have is how much of what we're seeing from him and his development as it goes is, hey, he didn't play the last 2 years of college before he came in the draft.
Well, that's a
right?
lot of it. Yeah, think about that.
So
now.
you got to go play to get better, right?
Didn't play in college because of COVID. Okay.
We had the knee injury, then COVID.
Yeah, exactly. So knee, COVID, and then still drafted in the second round. Yeah. So he hasn't played a lot of football, and then this is only his 4th start in 2 years. That's a long time without playing football. And so it takes time to get better. And that's a position. Look, there's a lot of positions that in the league that guys can kind of hit the ground running. And I'm sorry, but offensive line is not one of them. That's a position that takes reps. It's technique. It's angles. And all of those things need repetitions to be able to function. The one thing I will say about the Jaguars offensive line group is I think they got an excellent coach in Phil Rauscher. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke up anybody's rear end or anything. I'm just telling you that the Jaguars offensive line coach is outstanding. And it's been a joy to watch this offensive line group this year. I think they've gotten better across the board. Jawan Taylor's pass protection has been outstanding. Cam Robinson's angles and his footwork has improved dramatically. And look, that's a lot of coaching. Because the other coach that they had, which is now coaching the Houston Texans, which is George Warhop, he's doing a good job with Houston's offensive line, but I didn't see the improvement that I wanted to see in the last couple of years here in Jacksonville. So yeah, but I would have liked you to pick the question from Alex.
Oh, okay. Well, read it.
For Coach Peterson.
Let's go freestyle here.
Well, the one that he asked of Coach Peterson, he's going to ask vanilla or chocolate ice cream on Victory Mondays. He was going to ask that of Doug, and you didn't pick that one.
No, I didn't.
Okay, and this one
I would have said both, but go ahead.
This one from St. Augie Renee, I think I said that correctly.
Okay.
She wants answers, or he wants answers. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a boy or girl.
Okay.
Are we flexing the Titans game to Saturday? ?
Don't know yet.
What colors are we wearing? ?
I don't think I've seen that.
These are important questions I need answers to so I can plan! ! We'll be there no matter what, cheering the Jags on to victory! ! Awesome stuff.
Look, it's got to match what the team's wearing, right? If they're wearing teal.
What's your favorite uniform color?
I think the teal over the white, I think.
White pants?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I kind of like the all teal. I kind of like that.
All black's kind of good too.
I'm not a fan of the all black. We're teal, so it's either got to be all teal or teal jerseys and white pants.
They could wear polka dots with stripes. I wouldn't care as long as they win the football.
As long as they're winning,
that's fine with me.
I'm with you on that, JP.
We're back. No offense to polka dots or stripes. We're back in a moment, and our final thoughts for this Jaguars Texans game. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
What do you call a group of friends who wear the same jersey for good luck, no matter how old it is, and who support their team through thick and thin, week after week, as if the very season depended on it, while tossing the pigskin and drinking Miller Lite? You call it Miller Time in Jacksonville. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2022 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Hi, I'm Chef Justin Timnery, Florida's culinary ambassador. If you've enjoyed preparing fresh from Florida recipes, then you're going to love the Fresh from Florida Club. As a member, you'll be able to search and save delicious recipes, create custom menus, and ask me your cooking questions. Each month, you'll also get a list of what's in season, so you can make your family the freshest meals possible. It's free and easy to sign up. And best of all, you'll be supporting Florida's farmers, ranchers, and fishermen. Join the club at followfreshfromflorida.com today.
Unlock your potential at the University of North Florida. A top public university with more than 100 majors, UNF is number one among state schools for the highest percentage of graduates employed in Florida. Affordable tuition, programs in high-demand fields, and faculty who care. Swoop into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back. Final moments of the Doug Pederson Show. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman.
Some of the things that are being said and done in the commercial breaks, I think, are downright embarrassing in here.
Well, good thing they don't make air, at least right now.
My goodness. I mean, there's just...
This is the National Football League.
Yeah, this is the big time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Big time.
So the Jaguars have the Texans.
It's not being done by me and you.
No, we're good.
Yes.
Jaguars, Texans this week. Doug's playing them. They're playing. Guys are out there. Ain't sitting them. Nope. We're going to go play and
rock and roll.
Business as usual.
Rock and roll. Let's go. The teams that carry the momentum into the postseason are the ones that usually have the most success. So why not keep the ball rolling on this football team? And here's the reality. This Jaguars defense needs to get better if you're going to make some noise the last week and then into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? They've got to get better. Because look at the teams that are – pull up the number of the teams that are already locked in the AFC playoff-wise.
Yeah, let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture, if we can, on Jaguars.com, Jaguars social media. But, yes, there are a handful of teams that have clinched already. Bills, Chiefs, Bengals.
High-powered, all three of them.
Ravens have clinched a spot, and the Chargers have clinched a spot.
Okay, the Ravens don't scare me as far as their offense because the Jaguars handled them before and Lamar Jackson's been hurt. The Chargers worry me. I mean, that's a hot, high-powered offense. The Dolphins, if they get Tua back with those two wide receivers, that would be a tough matchup, I think, for anybody, and in particular this Jaguars football team. That'd be a really tough matchup with the Waddle and
Tyreek Hill, the cheetah and the penguin, man.
I mean, I know that, and I'm going to pull this up on Pro Football Focus, but I would be interested if I can have a few minutes to do it. But
you don't have time. You don't have.
But they're arguably two of the top 10 wide receivers in the league.
They are. They both are over 1,000 yards. TV tonight, quickly. Who you got?
We have Jawan Taylor and Brent Martineau.
Oh, very cool. It's Strings.
That's Strings.
In Springfield.
Yes.
That'll be fantastic. That's Jeff Lageman. Thanks to our entire crew. Head coach Doug Pederson. I'm JP